Hi, welcome to Library Madness. This is your tutorial on how to make a tissue paper bowl. So the items in your kit are a cup, Mod Podge, some tissue paper, and then I gave you 2 balloons. Sometimes there's a hole or maybe you'll pop it when you're blowing it up, so I gave you an extra one. So you might need an adult to help you blow this up and tie it into a knot. It doesn't have to be huge. You can see I blew this one up, but the bottom part of this is going to be your bowl. So try to decide how big you want your bowl. I think that's a good size. And then what you'll need from home is masking tape, unless you requested it with the kit, then I put some in there. So what you'll need is just 4 pieces of masking tape, and you'll want to tape the balloon to your cup. So you're going to want to go on all sides, all 4 sides, so it's attached to that cup nicely. That's your first step after you blow it up. Okay, so like I said, we're not gonna decorate the entire balloon. In your mind, kind of make a mental note of where you want your bowl to be. So when you flip it over, this part's gonna be your bowl. Just depends how much paper layering you wanna do. For your Mod Podge, another thing I'd recommend is just get a tiny bit of water in a cup. And you're gonna just add a tiny bit to thin this out a little bit. It tends to thicken when it's been sitting. So just a tiny bit, mix it around. I already added some to mine, mix that around. You'll also need to get a paintbrush. If you did the gratitude jar project with us in November, then you'll have a foam brush like this. You don't need a foam brush. You can use any type of paintbrush. So what you'll wanna do to start is put some of this, and I like to work with sections at a time so it doesn't dry out too much. You can thin it out, get a thin layer of that. You can see the white is where it is, and then start layering your tissue paper. I gave you much bigger pieces. I'm kind of using the scraps. And you might also want to separate your tissue paper by color families so that you can decide how you'd like to layer it on. And then you're also just going to go over what you put down with a thin layer, so it's really stuck on there. So that's the process, is just to keep adding different layers of this. So you can see it's starting to get pretty colorful. I need to add a little bit more of this and just try to keep it a little bit smoothed out. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit wrinkled, but you definitely want it nice and wet so it adheres. And another tip I have for you is you're gonna need to layer it. So maybe you wanna do 1 layer in a certain area and go back over it, especially this bottom area. You want 2 to 3 layers of paper. So maybe start small with your bowl and see how long your paper lasts, and do your layers. So make maybe a smaller bowl to start with so that you definitely have enough paper. If you have other tissue paper at home that you want to use, you could definitely do that too. And you don't need a lot. If you get a big glump of it, just spread it out. You don't have to have a lot on top of the paper. You shouldn't see blobs of it. Your paper just needs to be wet. So keep doing that all the way around, do several layers, and then you're gonna set this aside to dry, probably overnight. So the next day, test it, see if it feels dry, then you'll wanna pop your balloon. I will tell you that a lot of times the balloon ends up sticking to the inside of your bowl. So it's gonna look like this. And you're going to have to, with mine, I just started cutting a little bit because I could see a lot of balloon, and you have to very gently, and you might need an adult to help you with, peel it out of your bowl. And then you can take scissors and trim your bowl into any shape you want, but this is my bowl. If you do have a rip, save your Mod Podge. If you don't use it all, be sure to put the lid on it, clean your brush, keep your leftover tissue paper, because you can do a repair. If you get a hole in it, you can just turn it upside down and just very delicately, just a little bit, put a little bit more of this on and add some layers. Obviously, if you have a giant hole, it'll be a little more tricky. You might have to patch it in pieces, but you definitely can patch that. And I actually did get a hole in mine, mainly because I didn't want to use up all the tissue paper with my demo. So I definitely did not. I only did 1 layer of paper, which is definitely not enough, especially on the bottom. So I had to do a patch right there. That's okay. I will just leave the bowl like that overnight to let my patch dry and adhere to the bowl shape. So enjoy. It really looks beautiful when it's finished. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.